So welcome, this is a slow surrender class. So we're going to do a short discussion on surrender, on what that is, and then we'll do some slow movement, and the second part of the class will be more yin style, where we hold the poses a lot longer. That's where you might need your pillow, bolster, block, anything that you have as a prop. And if you're just joining, as I mentioned, if you want your own music, set the atmosphere for yourself to be nice and relaxing. And I hope you guys have a nice class. So the theme for today is on surrender. And I just wanted to talk about what that really means. So there's a really great talk by Tara Brach. She does a discussion on what surrender means. And so I've pulled a bit from her discussion about that. So she starts out talking about what surrender is not. And she says, so surrender is not about giving up. It's not, I surrender. It's not a passiveness, I don't care. Surrender is not about denying or avoiding. So it's not like, I feel angry, I surrender it, I don't care, I let it go. That's not surrender. Surrender is the willingness to be with whatever arises. So it's this willingness to be with the emotions, the anger, the fear, the loneliness, the grief, instead of denying, pushing away, numbing it out, running away from it, being so busy we don't have time to acknowledge it. So surrender is that willingness to be with whatever arises in us and around us. So she gives a few good examples, but I'll just try to give one of my own here. So imagine something arises in your life that brings out a strong emotion. Let's say anger, or let's say fear, grief. Resistance to that or denying that would be pushing it away, numbing it, being so busy, working out, I just want to forget about it, or this whole like, let it go, I don't care. That's resistance. That's resisting what's coming up in you. Surrender is removing that resistance and actually allowing yourself to feel or experience whatever it is that's happening. So when we resist things, we really want things to be different. Resistance would be like, why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be happening to me. I want things to be different. Or when things are going well in our life, it's this wanting to hold on. I want to keep things exactly as they are. I want to hold on tight. I don't want anything to change. That's resistance. Because the reality of life is things change, right? And of course we want to do this. Of course we want sunshine. We want things to be beautiful. But the nature of life is change. So life is ups and downs, highs and lows. And surrender is this willingness to be with life as it is in this moment. And there's another great quote that I like from Elizabeth Lesser, if you've ever read her book. She says, "How strange that the nature of life is change, yet the nature of human beings is to resist change. And how ironic that the difficult times we fear may ruin us are the very moments that can break us open and help us blossom into who we were meant to be." So surrender is sort of this openness to letting life flow more easily. It's this gentle release. We want to work on letting go of this grasp we have on wanting things to be a certain way. And keeping in mind that we want to do this with compassion for ourselves. Of course, it's hard to be with the difficult things in our life. It's not easy. So giving yourself some compassion, some permission to allow yourself to feel that. So that's the surrender that I'm talking about. It's not like completely I don't care about anything. It's kind of working on that resistance of where we're holding so tight to control things or to keep things the same. Can I release my grasp on that? I was trying to think about, with what's happening right now, a relevant example. So there's huge changes happening right now in everyone's lives. Tons of emotions. I think fear is one we can all relate to. So things change drastically for us. Fear arises. Resistance could look like denying what's happening, not wanting it to be that way, with this whose fault is it, blaming, angry, judging, or trying to hyper control a situation, excessively control anything I can because I don't like the fact that things have changed. Surrender doesn't mean we have to like it, but surrender is a willingness to be with it. So this is our reality right now. This is what's happening. Can I meet that with an open heart, without that tight resistance? Can I sort of meet it for what it is? And in doing that, we have more space to experience the highs and to hold those difficult moments in a more tender space. So I hope some of that made somewhat sense to you. but we're gonna work on surrendering also in our pose. So there's so much relevance between on our mat and off our mat in our life. So when we're doing this class today, I want you to even notice physically in your body where you might hold resistance. So resistance could look like tensing our hands, holding our breath, tightening your jaws, all that tightening, that's resistance. Can we work on starting to let that go in our body physically, where we release that grip, drop our shoulders down, feeling a more openness in our body. So that's how we can apply it on our mat and in our body, but it's also super relevant off our mat in our day-to-day life. All right, so we're gonna start in that seated position that you're in. I just want you to close your eyes there and take a few nice big breaths in and out through the nose. See if you can check in with your body. So notice any resistance, tightness in your body that you can feel just off the bat here. Can it be in your shoulders, your jaw? Can you relax the shoulders from the ears? Maybe it's in your breath. Maybe the breath is really short and shallow. So start to deepen out the breath. Take a longer breath in through the nose, belly expands. And a slower breath out through the nose. Finding a more soothing, calming rhythm to your breath. It's likely a bit longer, a bit deeper. Even noticing the sound of your breath, that we call it ujjayi breath, like you're fogging a mirror, making a sound, but the mouth is closed. Noticing the soothing, calming aspect of our breath, and that slower breath, an even length in, even length out. Okay, just feel everything slow down. Take another few deep breaths, body gently relaxing, opening. Take some slow circles into your upper body. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed if you want. Start to circle through the upper body. And as we're moving, noticing the physical body. So notice where, if you feel a bit of tightness in your back, your hips as you're moving. Taking that in the other direction. And then coming into center. Good. We're going to take our arms all the way out and bring your hands to touch your shoulders. Circle out your elbows here. Again, maybe closing the eyes. We have enough distractions in our mind, so sometimes closing the eyes helps to limit the visual distractions if there's things around you. Good. Going in the other direction, your circles. Remember, it's your body, it's your practice. You're welcome to add on any movement, any pose. You're welcome to sit anything out or modify it for yourself. Try to work from wherever you're at, feeling the body. So we're going to pull the elbows towards the back. On your inhale, open your chest, your throat. And then as you exhale, round out your back and try to touch your elbows towards the front. So inhale that again, open your chest, your chin, your heart. Exhale, rounding it out. Good. One more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. And then releasing it to center and taking the arms down. Lovely. So we'll come forward into tabletop. You could just move your pillow or anything you were sitting on out of the way there. And then come onto your knees in a tabletop position. Give the hips a gentle shake side to side. For a little twist, we'll do just a few breaths in thread the needle pose. So you're going to inhale, open one arm towards the sky, take a breath up. And then exhale, slide that arm all the way underneath, bringing your cheek, your chin down to the floor. So you could use a pillow or a block or all the way to the mat here. Pressing down into that outside arm, rotate back up into the center. Good. Do one cat and cow at the middle. Belly drops, lift your head, lift your tailbone. And then round out through the back. And come back to center. Other side. So inhale to open, take a breath, lift your arm up. Exhale, slide your arm all the way through, bringing your cheek down to the floor or a block. Press through that outside arm, bring it back to center, and again, taking a cat and a cow movement. Inhale, open, exhale, rounding, and then coming back into center. So we'll do a wide-legged child's pose. Bring your knees wider, reach the hands out forward, and shift back into your hips here, lowering down through the forehead. So stay there for a few breaths, close the eyes, and try to really feel your body against the floor. So if you can notice your forehead touching the mat, palms of your hands, knees. Remembering that idea of surrendering. So if you can let go a little bit more, let your hips feel heavier, sinking back, shoulders a little more open. Using your breath to sort of sweep through your body, clearing out any areas of resistance, tightness. Let the breath move freely. Slowly come back up through center. Bring the knees a little bit closer underneath, giving the hips a shake out. So let's take one downward dog here. If you're not feeling downward dog, you can come into child's pose. Otherwise, lifting your hips up, pressing back, taking a few breaths in downward dog. You can pedal out your feet here. Press one heel in, other heel in, rocking, rotating back and forth. If you want to move even more, you can lift a leg up, three-legged dog. Finding some length in your back. So try to straighten that back, even if your knees are bent. That's okay. Lengthen out through the spine, pedaling out into your feet. And then coming down onto the knees. So we're going to come into our first sort of deeper hold here in a pigeon pose. So this pose, you're going to draw one knee up into the wrist area, slide the knee towards the wrist, take the foot, bringing it forward, and you want to flex into that front foot. Hips are going to be into the center. This is where a pillow or a block could be helpful if you want to put it underneath that outside hip to support you. Then you're going to make your way down. There's lots of ways to get extra comfy in this pose. Maybe it's a pillow in front of you here to come down and rest your arms on, or building something up for your forehead to come down onto. We are going to hold the pose for about 3 minutes on each side. So you want to make sure you're pretty supported and comfortable in this position. If there's any knee or hip issues at all, if it bothers that anyway, you can come further onto your side and take more of a 90-90 pose in this, where you would fold. If that still is too much feeling on your knee, then take your back and do this variation on through the whole pose on your back. So get yourself set up, whatever works for you in this, and then I'm just going to let you sit in it. So keeping attention on our breath, close your eyes. Bring your body nice and close to the floor. If you're up in pigeon, forearms down, head getting closer. And then close the eyes and use your breath to sweep through your body. And see if you can scan through for areas of resistance, of tension. Notice if your shoulders are up high, as soon as you bring your awareness there, can you soften them more? Let go of that grip, that resistance. Drop them down, your hands, down through your back, your legs. with your breath. Anytime your mind maybe gets caught up in something else, a noise, a thought, just notice that. Notice that your mind has been pulled, your attention's been pulled somewhere else. So you can gently guide it, guide attention back to your body, back to your mat, back to your breath. The more you practice that, you strengthen your mind's ability to hold attention, to be present. And the more you practice that body scan, bringing attention to your body, you'll be able to feel more in your body, feel where you're holding tightness, resistance, emotion, where your muscles are really tight. So keep noticing where you feel muscles pulling in, tension, maybe breath holding. And then directing that soothing breath that we started with, so that slower, deeper breath. Feel the belly expand, your breath move slowly. What about our last 60 seconds here? Slow, deep breaths. Take your time making your way back up. So start to come up onto the hands, crawling back up to center, and really slowly shifting out of that. So push some weight to your hands, slide your leg back in behind, and take whatever feels good for you. So you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can circle, you can go downward dog, you can go child's pose, you can move. So just give a minute to come back to center. Whatever movement or stillness feels right for you here. Okay, and then coming back up onto the knees, and we'll take that on the other side. You're going to draw your knee up into the wrist area, flexing your foot. Take your foot further up. Knee to wrist, back leg can shift back. Again, an option might be a pillow or a block or something under your hip or in front of you. Use it to rest your forearms on, your head on. So make it as comfortable as you can so you feel really supported by the ground. Lowering down through the shoulders, the head. And again, checking in if it doesn't feel right. So there's a difference between pain and discomfort. If you're feeling pain, sharp pain, you've had an injury in the knee before, that you want to come out and take a different pose. Discomfort would be a really deep stretch, something we're maybe not used to in our body. So stay with the discomfort, but if it's pain, come out and try a different pose. You can come out, shift to the side, and then fold into it for that 90-90 variation, or you can take your back for your through the hole pose on that. So wherever you're at, be there. And notice any resistance that might arise. So whatever that might look like. It might look like tightness in your body, holding of your breath, physical resistance. It might be thoughts that come up like, I can't do this pose anymore. I don't like this pose. It's all okay, whatever arises, but allowing yourself to just notice it and be with it instead of that avoiding, denying that we had talked about before. So can you let your body open to whatever you're feeling right now, staying with your breath? And really find that soothing rhythm breath, the slower breath, about 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. That can be really calming for the body. So you can count in your mind. Maybe it's 4, 5, 6 seconds in, but make it the same length on the exhale. Checking in with your breath. So we're more than halfway there. Notice how every exhale is this opportunity to let go. So sweep through, let go of tightness, whatever you're feeling, creating space for more open space for what's to come. Sometimes I like to picture my breath as sort of this swirling movement, swirling through the body, sweeping out anything we're holding on to, no longer serving us. Even just the tightness of our muscles, let that go. Got about a last 5 or so deep belly breaths. To walk back up, bringing your hands closer into the hips. Take your time shifting out, take the leg back, and again, listen to your body. If you want to move gently, take those circles or shifting, or if it's downward dog or child's pose that you need here. Wherever you're at, take a big breath in and exhale it out through your mouth. So we're going to meet back up onto the knees. We're going to take one more deeper stretch here in a dragon pose. So I'm going to step 1 foot forward towards the front here. Bring the hips and start to let them shift forward towards that front leg. So some things to just check in with here. We don't want the leg back here so that your knee comes way forward over top. So if that's happening, get your foot further out. Walk it forward. And then let yourself ease in. If there's room, you can lift your back leg and shift it back. If you find your knees bothering you, flip your mat. If you're on a hard floor, flip your mat or place something there. Bringing your hands towards the hips. So typically we would have blocks and we might use the blocks for our hands. If you have them, you're welcome to, but it'll be a bit deeper because we don't have blocks, most of us. So you can bring your hands into your hips. We won't hold it super long. We'll do maybe 2 minutes. That might still sound long. It is, but not as long as in a usual yin class. Other things to think about, not pushing your belly way out like that. So tuck the belly button in and lift up from there. And this is a really great pose to work on that idea of surrendering. So there's a big tendency to pull back in this pose, to be back here holding our breath, squeezing our hands. So one breath at a time, see if you can ease into it. So releasing of that grip of our tightness. Let yourself ease forward. Close your eyes and see if you can even feel that in your own body, what that might feel like for you. If there's tightness in your shoulders, let that come down. Shoulders drop down. Move your jaw around, your tongue. Any holding of the breath, lengthen your breath out. With your eyes closed, locate in your body where you feel the most sensation. It's probably in your hip flexor area. And where it feels the strongest, guiding your breath, guiding your attention down to that spot. Almost like you're breathing really low in your belly, really low into your hip. Our exhale is where we can release some of that tightness that we're stretching out. The inhale is to fill, opening, deepening the stretch. We'll do a few more breaths. And again, checking in. If it's pain, if it's an injury, definitely come out, modify or adjust. If it just feels really deep, you're not used to it, See if you can stay in that space. It's like that out of our comfort zone, getting out of our box area. We don't often like to do it. We often resist it, but when we go to those spaces, we tend to have the most opportunity for growth, for change. Allow yourself to be wherever you're at here for a few more deep breaths. See if you can even soften another 5% in your body. Relax more, sink into it further. Take a really big breath in. Hold the top of the breath. Exhale through your mouth and relax your shoulders. Good. Slowly come forward. Take your hands down. Shift your hips back. Really gently, carefully come out of this. Bring the leg in behind you. Taking your knees wide and coming into a child's pose. So hips are going to go back, shifting down. As you hold that child's pose, notice any differences between your right side, your left side, between your hips, in the body, those subtle shifts. Often when we're in a pose, we'll feel something, but also when we come out of the pose is an opportunity to notice something in the body. Notice the shift, the change. Good. Make your way all the way back up. Give a little shake out there. And then taking it to the other side. So we'll start to come up. Take your other foot forward. Use this first minute to get yourself set up in the pose. Oops, opposite leg for me. So if you want to flip your mat on the outside, if you're on a hard floor, start to come into the pose. Check that your front knee is over top of your ankle or close to it. Belly button tucked in, low belly tucked in, so you're not sticking your tummy way out there. Hands into the hips or beside you or behind you or on blocks. So you can make it your own if you want to modify it at all. And see if you can notice the difference between when you start the pose and when you finish the pose. It might not physically look like a huge difference, but if you're feeling it, it really will be, because every breath, you're letting yourself go a smidge deeper. It might be a millimeter, a centimeter further into that. Instead of backing out, like we talked about, holding. A lot of times I'll see people back further in the pose and they feel like they're in it, but once they realize there's that space to release our resistance, our tension, you can see them start to shift forward into it more. Close the eyes if that feels good for you. And just notice the experience of the shape in your body, what this feels like today. You could do this pose or any pose every day, and it can be a completely different experience. Where the breath, where can you feel it the most? In your belly? Maybe at the base of the nose? Could be the sound, your ocean breath. Let you sit for this minute and a half. Do your own scan. Start at the top of your head, move down your body with attention. Feel where your jaw is, continue down your shoulders, your arms, and make it a slow scan where you're bringing attention and softness to each part of the body. Bring breath to that part. Can you allow yourself to get even closer to that stretch, to that deep feeling, maybe the discomfort you're feeling? Instead of always want to pull away, pull back, can you slowly ease forward into it? Let yourself get a bit closer to it. Our breath is still there. Stay with the breath. Take a really big breath in, holding your breath. Exhale through the mouth, soften. Good. Bring the hands forward. Take your time coming back. Notice how it feels through the hip flexor, the leg, shifting back to your knees. Maybe gently moving around, and then meeting in a child's pose when you're ready. Hips go back, lowering down. So come all the way back up, and then slide the legs out in front. So bringing yourself around onto the sitting bones. Take a few breaths in a windshield wiper position. Feet are wide. Let the knees rotate side to side. Beautiful. And then coming into center. So we're going to possibly want to sit on something here. If you have a bolster, a pillow, if you're really comfortable sitting directly on the floor, go ahead. I like to do it with something underneath me, but completely up to you here. And then pull one leg towards you, give a little rock through that hip. So our pose, Ardha Gomukhasana, half shoelace or cow face pose. You're going to cross the leg over top and then walk that foot up. So you see me walking the foot up and dropping your top knee on top. So I could do it from the floor, but then my top knee gets up high here. If you don't have anything to sit on, that's fine. But if you do, if your knee's up high, lift up so that your top knee can sort of be glued down onto that bottom knee. And then you have more space in front of you. Your leg's not up in your chest here. From there, you're going to fold over top of that. If you find this doesn't work for you, for your knee, your hip, another option is to take your foot inside and open it out and take the pose like this. Janushirasana, head to knee. You could fold forward there. Otherwise, the leg is crossed on top. Lengthen up and then start to fold. Reach it way out and let your hands come down to the mat wherever they end up. If you're up high, that's great. Stay there. If you're a little bit lower, that's great. Stay there. Wherever you're at, work on being there instead of trying to get yourself further or worry about how you should be further or you should be more flexible. So just close your eyes. Notice where you feel this the most as you start the pose. If you can relax the shoulders more, let the head dip down. Maybe you want to use a pillow or a block to support your arms or to build up and support your head. You can take a second if there's any props that you want to add into that. Close the eyes. Check in. Every shape that we're in, it might feel different for your breath. So where do you feel the breath the most here? In the belly? Maybe it's in your back. Maybe you can feel your ribs moving in the back. Every breath is an opportunity to tune in to our body. So feel the shape you're in, the sensation, the tightness, the resistance, the breath. Really with the sense of it's okay. Wherever you're at, whatever you're feeling, it's perfectly okay. Maybe adding a little smile to the face in each pose and really just enjoying this time with yourself. you find your mind is really busy or thoughts are going, you could try adding a breath count. So as you breathe in, you'd say the number 1, just in your head or out loud. Inhale 1, exhale 1, inhale 2, exhale 2, and just continue. Sometimes that helps quiet our thoughts a bit because our mind has a job, something to focus on that connects it with the breath. The more you practice, you'll find what works for you. It's focusing on your body, your breath count, a mantra. Take another 5 or so deep breaths, scanning through if there's any space for you to sink deeper here, to relax your shoulders. Walk your hands closer up, roll the body all the way up. And gently release that leg. Take your leg out, give it a little shake out in front. And come into the other side, bring the knee towards you. Rock out side to side. So you're either bringing your foot inside the leg to fold or you're crossing the leg over top. Walk the heel closer to the hip and try to work that top knee down like it's glued on top of your bottom knee there. Easing your way into the pose. So we're not pulling. You're not pulling and trying to yank yourself down. If you're doing that, notice your arms are tense, your body's tense. There's tension, there's resistance. So we're going deeper by opening and by relaxing. So come forward into it and then close your eyes and work on peeling away that urge to pull, to force ourselves, to hold our breath, to tense our muscles, and really finding this place of openness where we've removed that need to change the pose, change ourselves, get deeper, do better, be more flexible. Removing that and just sitting in whatever spot you're at, just sitting in with complete openness, subtle smile on your face, observing your breath in this moment. Noticing that calm, soothing aspect of your breath. It's always there. Checking in with the breath. We'll take another 5 to 10 slow belly breaths. Feel the heaviness of your arms, softness to your shoulders, your jaw, your head. Mentally direct your breath a little bit more into your back, the back of your leg, where you feel that stretch. And slowly start to roll all the way back up there. Undo that top leg. Give it a little shake out. Take a big breath in. Exhale at your mouth. Okay. So we're going to come on to our back into a supported fish pose. And you can use a pillow here or your blocks to do that. So supported fish would look like having something. It could be your pillow, your block, folded up pillow, rolled up blanket, up a little bit away from your tailbone so that you can roll open onto that. Take your arms open, your chest open, open through the head, through the neck. And on this pose, you could also have your legs out straight, or you can bring the soles of your feet together, knees open, heart open. So depending on if you've done the pose before, you want to lift higher, you want to let your head come to the floor, you're welcome to, but just play around with it. So it could be with your bolster, you could fold your pillow up in half, somehow having something underneath the back, the shoulder area, feeling your chest, your heart open, your head is touching something, the floor, another pillow, block, anything that feels supported. So just take a second to play around with that, feeling open through the chest, open through the heart, soles of feet together, knees open, or legs are all the way out, upper body open. And then once you come into that position, I want you to close your eyes there, relax through your jaw. Supported fish, this is a really great opener for the heart, for the chest. See if you can feel your heart beating, the openness to your chest, your heart, your throat. And staying with your breath, feel that soothing, long, deep breath. Every exhale is opportunity to let go, release, open a bit more. It's a great pose to add that subtle smile in. As you stay there, I'm just going to guide you through a really sort of slow body scan. Stay in your supported fish pose, you're open. And bring some attention to the top of your head. So you can notice crown of your head, top of your head. And allow that space to feel a bit more open. Feel your forehead, your eyes. Bring attention to the jaw, the mouth. And move awareness down to your shoulders. Feel that openness of your shoulders, your chest, your heart. Imagine with your breath, this feeling of openness, maybe even visualizing sunlight, light shining out through your chest, through your heart. So as you inhale, that light gets brighter, that shines brighter. As you exhale, it dims slightly. Feeling with your breath, the heart open, light shining through. Bring attention down to the belly, the hips. Feel the legs, the heaviness down through your knees, your ankles, your feet. And try to feel your whole body as one. Feel the whole body as one. Feel your whole body breathing. Really big breath in. Exhale out your mouth. So we're going to bring one hand to the back of your head just to support yourself, lifting your head slowly, bringing the legs in, and you can roll to one side a bit. Move your pillow, your block, your bolster out of the way, and then come back down onto a flat back. Just notice how that might feel a bit different. Shoulders slightly further open, giving the knees a gentle hug, rocking on your back. Finish with a little twist. Bring your knees over to one side. You can put a pillow under or between the knees if that feels good. Arms and chest are open, head centered or left. So opposite head center or opposite of the knees. Once you're in your twist, close the eyes and let yourself go deeper every breath into that twist. So you can imagine the breath moving up and down your spine. Feel the heaviness of your legs. Try to allow the arm to feel heavier, the legs heavier. So you're not pushing or forcing your legs down. Relax them even further. That feeling right before falling asleep where you're really open, really supported. Take your time, bring your knees back into the middle. Taking a breath at center. Exhale out the mouth. And then bring your knees over to the other side. Let them fall off against the floor or block. Arm open, head centered or opposite side. Again, take out that urge to try to force the pose. So you're not pressing your legs down or pressing your arms down. Allowing ourselves to go deeper by letting your breath, by letting gravity do the work. Finding that open place. Taking 3 more deep breaths. Bringing your knees back to the middle. And taking the legs all the way down to the mat. Shoulders open, palms facing the sky. Staying there in your resting pose. Close your eyes. Feel the softness through your face, all the tiny muscles through the forehead, the eyes heavy, your jaw, your tongue. Bring attention down through the neck, the throat, shoulders. Feel your right arm completely relaxed and heavy. Your left arm softened, heavy. Feel both of your hands, palms of your hands, your fingers. Bring attention down through your chest, your navel, your hips. Feel the right leg all the way down in through the right foot, your left leg, left foot. Feel the soles of your feet, your heels heavy. Feel your whole body as one. Feel your whole body breathing. Feeling of opening on our inhale, the whole body softly opening and releasing on the exhale, surrendering, removing our resistance, the heaviness of your body grounded, giving yourself permission to completely let go. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Just gently move your head from side to side as you're laying. If you feel like laying longer in Shavasana, you're welcome to. Otherwise, take the head side to side. Giving the body a full stretch out. Reach out through the legs, reach out through the arms. Bringing the knees into the chest, giving your legs a hug. Taking a little happy baby, knees wide. You can reach for your ankles, your feet, rocking or moving around there. And then we'll take your time rolling from your back, or you can roll to the side. Start to make your way up. Again, if you want to stay on your back and relax, you're happy there, stay there. Otherwise, coming into seated. Bringing one hand onto your heart, the other hand on top of that. Acknowledging yourself for creating the time and the space in your day for yourself, to spend with yourself. Taking a big breath in, holding the top of the breath, exhale through your mouth. And we'll finish with one of my favorite definitions of namaste. So the definition I love is that I acknowledge the place in you where lies your light, your love, your truth. When you are in that place in you and I in me, then we are one. So namaste. And thank you so much for taking the time for yourself to practice. I hope you had a lovely afternoon. Hopefully you couldn't hear my kids running too loudly in the house. The joys of live practice. Anyway, thank you and have a lovely rest of your day. Bye, everyone.